next game on the slate, we had which one was it? The Buccaneers versus the Lions.
Yeah.
Buccaneers versus Lions. That was another game where they came out. First of all, Detroit fans come out fired up. All right. I can hear how loud they are through the TV.
I'm telling you, that energy.
I can feel them rocking the stadium.
I told you that last week. The energy's different.
They was fired up again. Now, I thought that first game, I'm like, okay, it's been over 30 years since they had one. They come out screaming, but they came out again.
Mm-hmm.
And they pulled it off. Now, the Buccaneers was on their head for a minute now.
They gave him a fight.
Mm-hmm. They did that. They scored, and they decided to go for two. I guess that was an analytics decision, as they say.
I don't understand that.
They say it was analytics. You go for two, you get it now. And then if you don't get it, you go for two again and you get a chance to tie it.
So you increasing your chances of converting because you're going for two.
You going for two twice. And you getting a chance to win twice. So if you go for two and you get it that first time, you can kick a field goal and you win.
Right.
So I guess that's the logic and the analytics behind it.
If I'm playing Madden, I'm going for the field goal. And I'll go for two at the end of the game if I need to.
Yeah, I think you take the 7 points first.
Yeah.
Now, maybe you pull
I've seen that happen a few times this year, though. A lot of teams been doing that.
It's a lot of analytics. It's
I don't understand.
I felt like I was a kid genius when I used to play Madden. I used to do shit like that. Sometimes it works.
Ahead of the time.
I was ahead of my time, bro. I used to go for it on fourth down.
4th and 7, 4th and 10, all the time.
Less than 5 yards?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going for it.
Fake
Especially
field goal,
when we had
fake
Michael
punt.
Vick. Are you serious?
Yeah. We going for it on 4th.
Going for it. But, hey, they put it in the real game now.
Mm-hmm.
So, I didn't necessarily like that decision, but credit to the Detroit Lions defense. They stepped up in certain spots when they needed to.
Yeah.
Even though Mike Evans, he started cooking a little bit on
later on in the game. Yeah, they put him in. They put Cam Sutton in man coverage, and he just blown by him. And
Cam Sutton, boy,
got cooked, but he did a good job holding them together. Mike Evans was like dropping some passes. Mike Evans, he has a dropsy sometimes. I don't understand it, but that's what really turned the game and sparked the game into Detroit's favor. Was that first pick when Mike Evans dropped it going across the middle? He was surrounded by like 8 Lions because they was playing prevent defense. It was like 3rd and 17.
Yeah.
Pick, and then that's kind of what sparked and gave Detroit the juice. But I think Tampa Bay. It took them a while to get in motion, get into a rhythm. I think in the second half, Baker Mayfield started, making some plays and kind of wheeling and dealing and actually getting the ball down the field and targeting Mike Evans and getting Chris Godwin in the mix. And Kate Otten as well. So he was getting them boys in rhythm and kind of slowly but surely picking apart that defense. And then they had a decent run. They was running the ball pretty well as well. It's just I just feel like defensively they didn't get enough pressure on Jared Goff. They didn't disrupt Jared Goff often enough. And then when they did, this is what Philly didn't do. Jared Goff converted on 3rd down. They had an in route. They had a slant route that Jared Goff can hit Amon-Ra St. Brown for that first down, or hit Laporta for the first down on an in route. You know what I'm saying? So credit to the Lions. They played very well. Jahmyr Gibbs, beast. We already know what he's going to be about. That 1-2 punch between Gibbs and Montgomery. You got speed and strength.
It's scary because you don't know which one of them is going to get off on the game either.
They can do different things, man. Jahmyr can catch out the backfield and take the ball to the house. He can run it in between the tackles, outside the tackles. And then Montgomery, he's going to be physical when it's time to ground the pound inside the 5. They can go ahead and make some, run it straight down your throat 3 times in a row. So they brought it, man. They really brought it. They almost, kind of gave it up. Jared Goff almost threw a pick in the end zone. Dean, he dropped it.
Yeah,
but
that was almost big, boy. He
bailed him out. Bailed him out. But I think Detroit, they got that energy, that momentum from the crowd that's kind of giving them that juice. Now they take their talents on down to San Francisco. We'll see what happens then. But
what do you, speaking of see what happens, Now, the Buccaneers is another team that exceeded expectations.
They did. They weren't supposed to be there.
These first 3 games that we talked about, these are teams that at the beginning of the season, nobody expected these people to be here or be around nor win a division.
Right.
So, except me. But but do you think the Buccaneers are solidified at quarterback with Baker Mayfield at this point?
For right now.
For right now, you think they're good?
For right now.
They settled on Baker. What do you feel like they need to improve them to make them better?
I mean, they got the offensive weapons. I think they need to run the football a little bit better. The secondary is hit or miss. I mean, you got all pro back there. You got good corners that play man-to-man coverage. That's pretty solid. The linebackers are good as well. They might need to kind of get some better pass rush. I think they have a solid team in general, which is why they made it this far, obviously.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got the linebackers are arguably 2 of the best in the game as well. You know what I'm saying? Devontae David and Devin White. So those are 2 studs. But they need, Shaq Barrett is a pass rusher. He won a Super Bowl. So, I mean, you got guys on that team. The only issue was their quarterback. You know what I'm saying? But I think if they can run the ball a little bit more effectively, they'll be good. But Baker Mayfield, I mean, he's just a baller. You know what I'm saying? He's going to ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think now that he's been through a few different teams, he's gotten a little bit older. He understands the game a little bit. I saw that when he was with the Rams last season, how he kind of took over for that short period of time and kind of took control of the offense. So, I mean, Baker's going to Baker at the end of the day, right? Get sacked and things like that. But, I mean, obviously he has things to improve on, but I don't think he's your franchise guy. I think he's good for probably about 3 years.
3 tutties, 349 yards. He had 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
Jared Goff had 287 yards and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
But Jared Goff also had 2 running backs, one of them getting about 50 yards, one of them getting 74 yards rushing. Mike Evans had 147 and a touchdown. Mm-hmm. So it's hard for me to, place too much blame. The 2 picks, we can talk about the 2 interceptions, of course, but
one wasn't his fault.
Yeah, one wasn't. So, Baker Mayfield has exceeded expectations in a lot of people's books. So I was just curious to know what your thoughts were on Baker. But
sign him for about 2-3 years and, see what happens. Yeah, he took you to the playoffs, took you to a divisional round.
They need another weapon for them to take another step. But I think credit to the Detroit Lions. I think, they showed that they can stop some run. They can play some pretty decent run defense. They can obviously score points. They got their dynamic offense. They have a lot of weapons. The passing defense rather, still leaves a lot to be desired.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But
they're gonna
overall, they're gonna get cooked sometimes.
They're gonna get cooked.
But overall, they play with a lot of tenacity. Now, like you said, we're gonna see how they do when they take their talents on the road on up to San Fran. Mm-hmm. But we're gonna talk about that in the rundown.